All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're going to unpack a pretty wild theory from a researcher named Anthony Sutton. It's all about a powerful secret society that he claimed has been quietly steering the course of world events for more than a century.
You know that feeling? When you look at what's happening in the world and it just feels like we're all being dragged in a direction that none of us actually chose? Well, that exact feeling is right at the heart of the theory we're breaking down today.
So this is Anthony Sutton. He was an economist and a researcher who spent years, and I mean years, digging into the networks of global power. He actually started out as a skeptic, but he eventually came to believe he'd found solid proof of a hidden system, a secret order pulling the strings from way behind the scenes.
So where does a story like this even begin? Well, according to Sutton's research, the whole thing starts within the ivy-covered walls of one of the most elite universities in the world, Yale.
Now, we're not talking about your average college club here, not by a long shot. Sutton described this super exclusive group they call the Order, which was founded all the way back in 1833. Every single year, only 15 seniors get tapped to join. He figured that out of about 500 living members today, there are maybe 100 who are out in the world, actively pushing the society's agenda.
And get this, the commitment is for life. While they're still at Yale, the members are called Knights. There are only ever 15 of them at any given time. But the moment they graduate, they become patriarchs, and their job completely changes. It's no longer about being in a campus club, it's about actively working towards the Order's goals for the rest of their lives, with this kind of built-in guarantee of success, as long as they play ball.
And this isn't just some abstract idea or a secret handshake club. According to Sutton, it has a very real, physical headquarters with its own strange and powerful symbols.
This is Sutton's own description of the group's home base. He calls it a temple, a building on the Yale campus with absolutely no windows and two massive steel doors. And the weirdest part? This place is real. It's known as the Tomb. Its very realness just adds this unsettling layer to the whole story.
Inside this temple, and woven through everything the Order does, one number shows up over and over and over again. 322. And no, it's not random. It's a huge piece of who they are.
So what's the deal with this number? Well, Sutton claimed that when members write to each other, they don't sign off with best regards or sincerely. Nope. They use the phrase, yours in 322. It's like their secret signature, a quiet little nod to each other that says, hey, I'm in the club. I'm one of you.
But the symbolism goes way deeper than just a secret number. The society's whole identity is apparently built around some much darker, much more intense themes.
So while they call themselves the Order, most people know them as Skull and Bones. But Sutton points to an even more, well, ominous name they've used, the Brotherhood of Death. And that name is tied directly to their rituals.
According to the research, the initiation ritual involves literally placing a new member inside a coffin. That skull and crossbones logo isn't just for show. It's a central theme in all their ceremonies. It reinforces this whole Brotherhood of Death idea, which, of course, raises a pretty big question. What is the point of all this spooky, dark ritual?
And this is exactly where the theory pivots from weird college rituals to actual real-world power. So how does this secret brotherhood supposedly take its dark traditions and turn them into global influence?
According to a source Sutton cited, their philosophy is brutally simple. Might is right. He came to the conclusion that the society has one single objective: get power, keep power, and use that power. Not for any political party or for some grand ideology, but for their own hidden purposes. It's like a machine designed to put its members in high places and keep them all on the same page.
So, what does this look like in the real world? Okay, check out these two examples from Sutton's research. On one side, you've got George H.W. Bush, a Republican vice president. On the complete other side of the aisle, you have Averell Harriman, who was a huge financial backer for the Democratic Party. To you and me, these guys were political enemies.
But here it is. This is the absolute core of Sutton's theory. He claimed that these public opponents were, in private, brothers in the exact same secret order. He even pointed out that Bush's own father was a partner in Harriman's private bank. The allegation is that all the political theater is just a show. Behind the curtain, their real loyalty is to each other.
So that begs the question, right? If political enemies are secretly on the same team, what is the point of all the conflict we see? According to Sutton, the conflict itself is the whole point. The conflict is the tool they use.
He said their primary method is something called the Hegelian dialectic. Now that sounds super academic and complicated, but the basic idea is pretty simple. You don't just sit around and wait for history to happen, you create and you manage the conflict that leads to the exact change you wanted all along.
Here's how Sutton claimed it works. First, the order helps create a thesis. You know, a political movement, an idea, a party. Then, they secretly help create or fund its opposition, the antithesis. As these two sides fight it out, the public gets totally wrapped up in the struggle. Think about Bush and Harriman again. Republican versus Democrat. That's the thesis and antithesis. But the real goal is the synthesis. That's the new reality that comes out of all that chaos, which was actually the desired outcome from the start. It serves the order's agenda no matter which side wins. It's conflict by design.
So, if this centuries-long plan of managed conflict is real, what's the endgame? What is the final synthesis that they're supposedly all working toward?
According to Sutton's interpretation, the ultimate goal is a new world order. But in this system, individuals would basically become cogs in the state. Your rights wouldn't be something you're born with, they'd be something granted to you by the state, and they'd be based entirely on your obedience.
Now, we're not here to tell you what to believe, just to explain the theory as Sutton presented it. But it leaves us with one heck of a final thought, right? What if the most powerful forces shaping our world aren't really hidden in the shadows, but are just operating in ways that are never fully explained to the rest of us? Something to think about.